Hey guys, this is Basketball Star 1130. I know it's been a bit, but I'm back with another tier video. Today I'm going to be ranking NFL teams, placing them into tiers. A few things first before we get started. So if you didn't see my starting quarterback tier video for 2019, I made that last week. It's up on the channel. Go check it out. And if you didn't see my broadcast, whether you watched it live or if you're seeing it now, go check it out. Sorry that didn't have audio. Something was messed up on the PS4. But that's just some housekeeping things I wanted to remind you of. In the Warriors and Raptors game last night, Warriors won 109-104. I will be reacting to that sometime soon before Wednesday's game. So let's get started with today's video, which is tier rankings for NFL teams. We have S tier, which is elite, A tier, which is above average, B tier, which is average, C tier, which is below average, and D tier, which is bad. So let's get started. The Panthers are B tier, an average team. It all depends on Cam's health. If Cam Newton is healthy, then they're very good. They started the year off 6-2 last year, but they lost their last 7, and they only won their 7th game in week 17, and they went 7-9 on the year. Very disappointing finish, losing 7 in a row like that for the season. But as long as Cam's healthy, with one good offseason, they can literally go to elite or close to elite. Next, we got the Indianapolis Colts. They're hard. They're close to elite. I'm going to put them at A, above average. I need to see more. That defense overperformed last year. Darius Leonard was a nice pickup. Pierre Desir overperformed their cornerback. Obviously, Marlon Mack's a good piece for their offense at running back. Andrew Luck came back slinging. He was very amazing last year in his comeback. I didn't expect that. They have a nice Quentin line. They got Braden Smith and Quentin Nelson in the draft, so they actually have good protection for Andrew Luck now. So with one in the very near future, they can be right up there with elite. Some of these other teams I'm going to place. Next is the Cardinals. I'm going to put them at D, bad. They drafted Josh Rosen last year, number 10 overall, but they didn't like him. Well, I don't know if they didn't like him, but the new coach, Cliff Kingsbury, was in love with Kyler Murray, so they took Kyler Murray number 1 overall this year. That's unheard of, and then they traded Josh Rosen to the Dolphins. But I think, obviously, the Cardinals are still bad. That defense is a wreck. There's really nothing to it. They drafted 3 good receivers for Kyler Murray. They drafted Andy Isabella, then Keyshawn Jackson, and then Hakeem Butler. So that will help him. But the Cardinals' defense is still very bad. Their offense is okay, I guess. They don't, other than Larry Fitzgerald, who's slowly declining because he's old, they don't really have much. I know they signed Charles Clay, but he's not going to be much. Next, we got the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are basically in the same spot as the Panthers. It's not Kirk Cousins' health. If Kirk Cousins can be good, though, I think they can be really close to elite. I wouldn't say as far as elite, but they can be close to elite, just like the Panthers. I think the Panthers are a little better than them, but they're still in that same realm. It depends, like the Panthers with Cam Newton, and it depends on Kirk Cousins with the Minnesota Vikings. That defense is very good. They've always had a very good defense. Linval Joseph, Danielle Hunter. They were talking about maybe trading cornerback Xavier Rhodes and cornerback Trey Waynes. I think Waynes is more likely to go. And they're talking about trading Kyle Rudolph, but the Vikings don't have much cap space. At least they get Anthony Barr back. Anthony Barr initially negotiated with the Jets. Then he spurned them the next day to come back to Minnesota. So I guess that was good. But the Vikings offense, they have Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen, which are 2 great receivers. Adam Thielen had a monster. He started the season off high. He started great. So it all depends on Kirk Cousins, though. Like I said, if he can step up his game. The Bears, a lot of people are doubting the Bears this year. I'm not doubting them. I still think, ooh, this is hard. They're not down here. They're like borderline A, B, above average, average. I'm going to put them at above average. They still have a really good defense with Aaron Lynch, Danny Trevathan, Kyle Fuller. I know they lost Adrian Amos to their rival in-division rival Packers, and they lost Bryce Callahan to the Broncos. But Amos is the big loss, but they still have Eddie Jackson at safety, who just he has a knack for picking off that ball and returning it for touchdowns. Still have a very good defense. That Khalil Mack trade was amazing for them. I know they gave up 2 first-round picks, but it was worth it to get him. I mean, he was just amazing last year. He was a wrecker on that defense. And then I think Mitchell Trubisky will step up. He's been kind of disappointing last year. Mitchell Trubisky needs to step it up. The offense is kind of sluggish. I wouldn't say too much. They got Allen Robinson at wide receiver. Trey Burton is an okay tight end, who they picked up from Philadelphia. But yeah, Mitchell Trubisky really needs to get it going. Next is the Philadelphia Eagles. Again, just like the Bears, borderline A, B, above average, average. I'm going to put the Eagles at above average. I'm expecting Carson Wentz in his 4th year to really start slinging it, to really improve. He's been injured a lot in the last 2 seasons, at the end of the seasons, and Nick Foles comes in, but now they don't have a backup quarterback. They signed Cody Kessler if the Jaguars cut him. They signed Luis Perez after the AAF folded. And they have Nate Sudfeld from last year, and they drafted Clayton Thorson out of Northwestern. So the question is, will they carry a 3rd quarterback, and who will get that backup spot? We'll have to see. But I'm expecting Carson Wentz. Those injuries will motivate him. He'll want to be really well. I'm expecting him to have a huge monster year, or close to it. Next is the Buffalo Bills. Now I saw one guy today. This gives us a little hope. This is my team. This gives Bills Mafia a little hope. He said, I think it was Michael Robinson on NFL Network. I got a notification. He said he thinks the Bills will win the AFC East. I don't know how likely that is with the Patriots, but that's a very encouraging sign. They had an amazing draft. They had an amazing free agency, picking up some depth, making that talented roster better. Brandon Beane is already not one of the best, but he's already a top 15 general manager in this league, in the NFL, I think. And the Bills got Cole Beasley, John Brown. They got Duke Williams, that really stand-up wide receiver from the CFL. On defense, they obviously got some hybrid players. They drafted a bunch. Dawson Knox has not signed his rookie contract yet, but that doesn't concern me too much. 3rd-round picks usually take a while to sign, but Ed Oliver is going to be a wrecker on D. I can't believe he fell to them at 9. That was a steal. Maybe not a steal, but I'm glad we didn't go offense. We're going to have a really special year this season. And the question is, will we trade LaShawn McCoy, or will we cut him even before the season? I think it's more likely we trade him than cut him, but we'll see. Oh, sorry. I forgot to place the Bills into a tier after talking about all that. I think the Bills are B average. Next, we got the Denver Broncos. Sorry about that, excuse me. Got some allergies going. Next, we got the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos are a below-average team. People are saying they're a playoff team. I don't see it yet. Well, Joe Flacco, John Elway was crazy. He said Joe Flacco is just entering his prime. That's not true. He's way past his prime. Ever since he won that Super Bowl, he has not been good at all. He got replaced by Lamar Jackson. Excuse me. He got replaced by Lamar Jackson mid-season last year, who was a rookie, and Lamar Jackson was really excellent for them. They saved their playoff hopes and got them into the playoffs, so that's where the Broncos stand right now. The New York Jets. I'm going to put the New York Jets in below average. I know they got a lot of guys. They got C.J. Mosley. They signed Jamison Crowder on offense. Sam Darnold's going to keep developing. They signed Le'Veon Bell, but now they're talking about trading Le'Veon Bell because they... Adam Gase is their interim general manager, and they fired Mike McCagnon, but I don't know how likely that is, but that's where the Jets stand right now, just a step below the Buffalo Bills. Next, we got the Los Angeles Chargers. I think the Los Angeles Chargers are definitely an S-tier elite team. The Chargers have maybe one of the most complete teams, maybe the most complete team in the NFL. Their defense is very good. We get at safety, they got Derwin James. They drafted Nazir Adderley at cornerback. They got Casey Hayward. They got Trevor Williams, who's decent. And then they got Desmond King as a special teamer who can return kicks. And he's also decent and okay at cornerback. We'll see, but the Chargers on offense, they got Melvin Gordon. And their backup running back spot is really good with Austin Eckler. And they got Phillip Rivers at quarterback, who's really good even though he's old. Mike Williams at wide receiver. He really came on at the end of the season last year. At tight end, I'm not sure if they re-signed Antonio Gates, but I'll have to keep an eye on that. I'll update you on that. But They got Hunter Henry, who's coming back, so that's where the Chargers are right now. The Jaguars, ooh. The Jaguars I'm going to put in average team. I don't know if Nick Foles will have the same success as he did in Philadelphia, but on the Eagles, but maybe a little drop-off, but if there is a drop-off, I'm not expecting too big of a drop-off, so the Jaguars' offense is a little shaky right now. The defense is very good. I know they caught Malik Jackson, and the Eagles signed him at D-tackle, but still, that Jags defense is really good with A.J. Boye and Jalen Ramsey at cornerback, so. The Redskins, they're like borderline CD, below average, bad. I'm going to put the Redskins at C, below average. They had a really good draft. I can't believe Dwayne Haskins fell to them. And then they got Terry McLaurin from Ohio State. I'm going to start going a little quicker here, so sorry if you can't keep up. Next, we got the Los Angeles Rams. I'm going to put the Rams as an elite team. I think Jared Goff will really step up. The Lions, I'm going to put the Lions at an average team. They had a really nice free agency. They drafted T.J. Hockenson. They signed Jesse James so they can run a 2 tight end set there. They have Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones for wide receivers. So that's where that stands. The Saints, I think the Saints are an elite team. I think the Saints should have gone to the Super Bowl. The call was nonsense. Nickel Roby-Coleman, who used to be on my Buffalo Bills, but Nickel Roby-Coleman, he just basically gutted his head. He knocked his helmet so hard onto Tommy Lee Lewis, so the Saints should have went to the Super Bowl. Hard to say if they would have beat the Patriots, but they should have got a shot. The Texans, I'm going to put at an average team. Now, this is strange. They took Titus Howard from Southern Alabama, but I know Titus Howard is good, but Juwan Taylor was still on the board, and they should have taken him. Every team that passed on him was ridiculously stupid, and the Jags still got him in the second round. So that's where the Texans are as we speak. The Falcons are going to put it above average. They're borderline elite. Their offense is very good. Their defense is a little shaky, but they got Julio Jones, Mohamed Sanu in the slot. They got Calvin Ridley and, like I said, Julio Jones both on the outside. Matt Ryan at quarterback. If Devontae Freeman can stay healthy, they got him. They lost Tevin Coleman, but he was their He was their really good running back, but anyway. The Pittsburgh Steelers, I'm going to put it above average. Some people might be saying why. They lost Antonio Brown, but I think he's a diva wide receiver. I don't think you want him on your team when you're trying to build a culture like the Steelers are. James Conner is a really good running back. And Ben Roethlisberger is not regressing. He's dropping off and regressing a little, but not too much. And then they got Juju Smith-Schuster, and then after Juju, the wide receiver battle is crazy good. You'll have to watch it in training camp and preseason, but they signed Dante Moncrief, they drafted Deontay Johnson, and they have James Washington, who they drafted last year. They got Eli Rogers, too, and Darius Hayward-Bay, who doesn't do much anyway. But that wide receiver battle after Juju Smith-Schuster will be very interesting. The Packers, I'm going to put that above average team. I'm expecting Aaron Rodgers to finally get back to his form last year. The last 2 years have been really shaky. I wouldn't say bad, but really shaky for him, not himself. He'll get back to his form this year. There's some really nice pieces on defense. The Darius Smith, Preston Smith at linebackers, and then they added Adrian Amos at cornerback. So that's pretty good. The old Bears cornerback last year. The Buccaneers are my second bad team. I'm not expecting Jameis Winston to be fixed, and if Bruce Arians can't fix him, if he can't step up, he's out of Tampa Bay. I'm not expecting him to do anything good anyway. The Cleveland Browns, people are saying Super Bowl contender, one of the best in the league. I'm going to put the Browns at above average. I think it's slow your roll. I know they got Odell. I know they got Jarvis Landry. I know they got drafted Nick Chubb. I know they signed Kareem Hunt. And they have David Njoku, who's a rising star. Maybe not a star, but we'll have to see how that talent meshes together as the season goes on, so you'll have to keep an eye on that. The Seattle Seahawks are they're borderline A, B, above average, average. See, the Seahawks are better than these teams, but I'm going to put the Seahawks at above average. been hearing a lot of chatter that they're on basically on NFL.com and NFL Network, basically every sports outlet, that they're a sleeper team for the Super Bowl title. You gotta watch out for them. Russell Wilson just got a big new contract like a month ago, so he'll be encouraged by that. The Cowboys, I'm gonna put an above average team. It's Super Bowl for bust. It's Super Bowl or bust for them this season. They got Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Amari Cooper. Problem is they have to pay all three of those guys, so I don't know how that's going to work. They got Michael Gallup, who's okay, I guess, but they got a really nice offense going. Their defense is above average. It's not the best, but I'd say it's pretty good. Now on to the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins are a bad team. Josh Rosen was ousted in Arizona on the Cardinals by Kyler Murray, and they traded in the Dolphins. The Dolphins didn't give up much, but who's to say that it won't happen again with Josh Rosen? The Dolphins could tank and draft Tua Tagovailoa last year from Alabama. Draft him next year in the 2020 NFL draft from Alabama, and Josh Rosen could be traded again. So you got to watch out for that. But the Dolphins, their defense is okay, I guess. They just gave Xavier Howard, the cornerback, a big extension. Their offense is not that good. Kenyon Drake's an okay running back. I think he's below average, though, but he's an okay running back. Next is the Bengals. I'm going to say the Bengals are a bad team. Some people might say they're a little better than that. They're C, below average, but I think they're D, bad, because they fired Marvin Lewis. They have Zach Taylor, who was really good under Sean McVay. McVay was the Rams quarterback coach. He coached Jared Goff, but in the Bengals draft, and will translate to head coaching experience. He's never had a head coach job, even on the college level or NFL level. And the Bengals drafted Ryan Finley from NC State, so it looks like he's Andy Dalton's successor, and Andy Dalton might be out in the very near future, at least the foreseeable future. The 49ers, a lot of people are doubting them. I'd say they're an average team because Jimmy G is going to be inspired, and he is coming back. They have a good problem. Too many running backs. They have Tevin Coleman, who they signed from the Falcons. They have Jerick McKinnon, who they signed last year from the Vikings, and they have Matt Breida, who was really good last year in McKinnon's absence. He was above average. He was really good. The Patriots, like I said earlier, Michael Robinson of NFL Network on NFL Network said that the Bills will win the AFC East, but this is hard. But I still think the Patriots are an elite team. Next, we got the Giants. They're a bad team. They drafted Eli's successor this year, but they should have drafted Dwayne Haskins or at least Drew Lock. I think it should have been Haskins. Then they drafted Daniel Jones, and Giants fans went crazy, and I did too. I don't know why they drafted Daniel Jones. That was pretty dumb. But anyway, that's it for the Giants. Their defense is terrible. The offense is lackluster. They traded Odell. Janoris Jenkins is regressing on defense. Eli Apple, good thing they got rid of him last year at the trade deadline to the Saints. But, yeah. Next, we got the Chiefs. The Chiefs are an elite team. I know that defense isn't the best, but they added Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger, at safety. They traded for Frank Clark. I know they gave up a first-round pick in this year's draft, but they got Frank Clark. And they were the best defense in terms of sacks this year because they had Justin Houston, Chris Jones, and Dee Ford. And Justin Houston and Dee Ford are gone, so we'll have to see how that works. But they still have Chris Jones. He's holding out, I've heard, right now for a new contract, so we'll see what happens with him. They should not trade him, though. Next is the Raiders. I think the Raiders are below average. I don't think they're even average yet. I know they added Antonio Brown, but I don't know why Antonio Brown wanted to go to the Raiders instead of the Bills, but we don't want him anyway if he's not going to even show up. So, but anyway, show up to Buffalo. That's what him and his agent said. But the Raiders, they had a weird free agency. And they drafted Cleveland Farrell with this 4th overall pick. That was a surprise. So it was coming out the week of the draft, a couple of days before the draft, that the Raiders were going to make a surprise selection at number 4. That's why they sent home all their scouts to avoid leaks. And John Gruden and Mike Mayock, the general manager, were running the show, basically. So, yeah, that's better on the Raiders. I don't think they're too good in this season. I would say like 4 to 6 wins is their window. Next is the Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens are No, I'm not going to go as far as say they're above average. They're not on the level of those other teams that are in above average. The Ravens are B average. The Ravens added Mark Ingram at running back, who's kind of a do-it-all running back. They drafted Trace McSorley, the Ravens, and he can play on defense, special teams, and offense. Running back, wide receiver. He's going to tight end. He's all over the place. He's going to play a similar role to Taysom Hill of the Saints, I heard. Taysom Hill is built like a beast, and Trace McSorley isn't built up as big as him. But, yeah, Trace McSorley is going to do all that for you. And Lamar Jackson, maybe not a huge step up, but I expect him to step up. Last team we have here is the Tennessee Titans. I think the Titans are... No, they're not. Just like the Ravens. They're similar to the Ravens. They're an above-average team. This is Marcus Mariota's last contract year, or a fifth-year option, I think. But yeah, he's been okay. He's been okay. His second year in the league, he absolutely tore it up. He was pretty good in the beginning of his career. Just like I mentioned, second year in the league in the NFL, he was amazing. We'll have to see what he does this year. Him and Jameis Winston, we'll have to see what they do to stay on their teams. But he's gonna be in B. If I had to rank these teams from the tiers, I would say, this elite category is tough. Okay, I got it now. I would say Chargers are 1 in this tier. I would say Chargers are 1. Saints are 2. Patriots are 3. Patriots are 3. Chiefs are 4. And Rams are 5. Next to the A tier, above average, I would say Falcons are 1. Colts are 2. Eagles, I think, are 3. And the Colts are entering their Super Bowl window too. So Colts 2, Eagles 3. Cowboys are 4. Browns are 5 in this tier. Bears are 6. Steelers are 7. Packers are 8. Seahawks are 9. Yeah, that's how I'm going to keep it. Now for the B tier, for the average tier, I think Vikings are 1 out of this average tier. Panthers are 2. Bills are 3. Now this is where it gets tough. Ravens are 4. Sorry if there's a little background noise. My TV is on right now. Ravens are 4. Let's see. Jaguars are this stuff. Jaguars are 5. Lions are 6. Texans are 7. Titans are 8, and 49ers are 9. Now for C tier below average, I think Jets are 1, Broncos are 2, Redskins are 3, Raiders are 4. That's good. D tier bad. Out of this tier, best team out of this tier, I think. This is tough. It's either Cardinals or Buccaneers for 1, but I think Buccaneers are 1. Cardinals are 2. Bengals are 3. Dolphins are 4. Giants are 5. You could mix up this tier however you want, but the difference between Dolphins being 4 and Giants are being 5, I didn't flip those two because the Dolphins have a way better defense than the Giants. It's promising for the future. They just gave Xavier Howard a deal, and Giants, a lot of guys are declining, like Janoris Jenkins, Eli Apple, they traded away, so at last year's trade deadline, so... yeah, that's about it. Make sure to check out my broadcast. I think I'll be doing another one this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday. I think I have a schedule where I'm going to do one every week. They'll be about an hour to an hour and a half long. It will be either on Saturdays or Sundays, so watch out for that. And if you didn't see my starting quarterback video, watch out for last week. Go check that out. Shop on the channel. The Warriors, beat the Raptors 109-104. I'll be reviewing that game post-game and previewing the next game, which is Wednesday. Anyways, thanks for watching. Bye. This is Basketball Star 1130. Bye.